whack of trades we have to talk about right here, including one I had to stop laughing for before I hit the record button. Now, let's start off with the Boston Bruins acquiring Mike Reilly. Thought I was going to say Taylor Hall. That's coming up. They acquire Mike Reilly from the Ottawa Senators in exchange for a third-round pick in 2022. Nice little bit of business there for Boston. He can move the puck pretty decently. He's having kind of a career year. Now he's 27, 200 pounds, 6'1", from Minnesota. He's in the last year of his contract. In 40 games this season, 19 points, -2, 18 penalty minutes. He has no playoff experience, though. And he's also played for the Minnesota Wild and the Montreal Canadiens throughout his career. Next up, let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs making another move on Sunday, as the shooting of this video as well, and acquiring David Riddick from the Calgary Flames. Smart move, I think, by them. They gave up a third-round pick in 2022. The Flames also retained half of his salary as well. So that, I mean, Jack Campbell has had an injury that's affected him twice so far. The same one, what we think might be his left leg or something. And I think the Leafs might be concerned he might be a bit fragile. They've given him days off on practice days. And of course, Frederik Andersen is on the LTIR right now. We have no idea what's wrong with the guy. So it looks like he's going to be out for at least for the rest of the regular season, but be available, I would imagine, once the playoff time comes around. And then there's Hutchinson, who's actually done really well for him this year. I say this year because he's played for them before and not done so well. But then again, the Leafs defense at that point in time really didn't do him any favors. So, but still, going out in David Riddick, he falls right behind Campbell and Anderson, and before Hutchinson on the depth chart there. And if you're going for a long playoff run, it's not a bad move at all for a third-round pick. So I think that's a goodie on them. Looking at his stats real quickly, he'll be a UFA at the end of the season as well. He's 28, 6'3", 206 pounds from the Czech Republic, and in 15 games this season had a .904 save percentage. He only has one playoff game experience, but I don't even think that's a full game. I think he stepped in partway through the game when they got blown out in Dallas in that last playoff game. So it's hard to give a 667 save percentage any real validity there. But he usually shows up at the big moments for Calgary in the past. And with a better defense, in front of him, I think he'll have a chance. Now, next up, let's talk about the New York Islanders acquired Braydon Coburn from the Ottawa Senators. Ho-hum. He's a number 8 defenseman. They gave up a 7th-round pick in 2022. Smart deal by the Islanders. He's 36, 6'5", 223 pounds. Should be in WrestleMania, really. He's on an expiring contract as well with a $1.7 million cap hit. He shoots left, if I haven't said that already. In 16 games this season with Ottawa, 2 points, -3, 10 penalty minutes. He played 40 games for Tampa last year, had 5 points +5, 4 points +5. And throughout his career, he's played 137 playoff games with 3 goals, 32 points, and a -4. Not bad for sort of the stay-at-home guy who can, clobber anybody in front of the net. He's also played for Philadelphia in his career and was drafted by the Atlanta Thrashers. So that's kind of cool, a little bit of retro nostalgia there for you. Next, let's move on and let's talk about the big fish. But there's still another fish after this to talk about. But it's Taylor Hall, who's going to the Boston Bruins for next to nothing, really. So the Bruins get Hall and Curtis Lazar from the Sabres for a 2nd-round pick and Anders Bjork? But why? I don't, when Kevin Adams first got this job as the GM, he made some good signings and moves. I don't get this one at all. And this is kind of one of those trades which could kill your career as a GM. You tell me you couldn't at least get 2 second-round picks, bare minimum? Or a second-round pick and like a top 4 draft pick or prospect, excuse me, at the very least? And why didn't he wait till Monday? Closer, to the deadline, actual deadline. Give yourself a few hours, in case the fax machine breaks down. I don't know. I know we don't use fax machines anymore. But you understand what I'm saying here. Like, what's the rush? What, Boston's going to pull its offer of a second-round pick and Anders Bjork? Like, no other teams saw enough value in this player to offer more than this. I don't get it. I really don't get it. So... I know Hull hasn't had a great season either by any means. He's been in decline ever since his Hart season with the Devils. In 37 games with Buffalo, he had 2 goals, 19 points, minus 21. Ouch. Really, he's been a minus player for most of his career. Now, he's only got 14 playoff games experience. 9 with Arizona last season, in which he had 2 goals, 6 points. Not bad, minus 4. And 5 games with New Jersey back in 2017-18, 2 goals, 6 points, minus 1. Pretty good. Not bad. It seems like he's lost his hands over the last little while, but he's still a good play driver, and he gets into those high danger zones. His last good year, though, of course, the year he won the Hart Trophy, 93 points, 39 goals. He was a plus 14. By far the best plus-minus of his career and points. His next best point season was 2013-14, in which he had 80 points, 27 goals, minus 15 with Edmonton. Where will they fit this guy? I'm going to guess here, maybe beside if they had a line of Krejci centering Hull and Pasternak, bump Ritchie down to the third line. I think that would be a smart choice because the Bergeron, Marchand, Craig Smith line seems to be doing pretty well there. Smith has been just lighting up the board. He's got like 12 points in 10 games or something, or in 10 and 7 games, his last 7. He's been doing well. So great deal. That's a steal for Boston, really. I just don't get how no one could have offered him a better deal, and he didn't wait till Monday. Curtis Lazar, who's going to Boston as well, in 33 games, 5 goals, 9 points, minus 4. That's actually better than Bjork's numbers, who's going to Buffalo. Now, Lazar does have 1 more year left at his contract at $800,000. Not a lot of money there. He's at best a third, but probably a fourth liner. And then Anders Bjork, who's going to Buffalo. Curtis Lazar, by the way, is 26, if I didn't say that already. 6 foot, 211 pounds from British Columbia. Bjork, back to him. He's 24. He plays both wings, as does Lazar. He's 6 foot, 190 pounds from Wisconsin. He does have 2 more years left on his contract at $1.6 million per, but still, so he's got some term left on his contract. That should make up for another second rounder or top 3 prospect. No. Again, he's a third / fourth line plugger here. In 30 games for Boston, he had 2 goals, 5 points, minus 8, 10 penalty minutes. He's got 10 playoff games experience his entire career with 1 point, minus 3. All of those stats came from last year in his run with the Bruins. Let's move past that. I would love to hear about where you think they're going to slot Hull, though, by the way, in the comment section. And what do you think about that trade? And it smells fishy to me. Why would he not wait till Monday? He seriously couldn't get a better deal than that? I don't know. Last deal of the day. This one seems to be official. It's up on salary cap, unlike the Taylor Hall trade. And that's Jeff Carter from the LA Kings was traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins. And it looks like the Kings also retained 50% of his salary as well. Jeff Carter was making just over $5.2 million per year. He also has 1 more year left on his contract. We'll get to his stats in just a second. But LA got a 2022 conditional third-round pick and a 2023 conditional fourth-round pick. I don't know what those conditions are at the moment, but yeah, okay, good deal for the Penguins. I guess they're trying to go all in before, the dream dies. Now with the new management in there, taking one last run, I guess this year, maybe next with Crosby and Malkin, before they start the big fire sale. So we'll see. They have been oddly good without Malkin in the lineup too. Mostly because Crosby's been a machine. But I digress. Let's look at Jeff Carter's stats here real quickly. He's 36, has a birthday in January 1st. He's 6'3", 219 pounds. Now, he in 40 games with LA, he's got 8 goals and 19 points, -6, 22 penalty minutes. He hasn't been to the playoffs since 2017-18. But in his career, he's got 120 playoff games experience with 39 goals, 74 points, -8. Not shabby at all. Of course, he played for LA, played with Columbus ever so briefly. Do you remember that, for 39 games? And he started off his career with about 6 years with Philadelphia. I think this is a really good trade for both teams. Really, it's hard to give someone the edge. Maybe I'll give the edge to the Penguins, not knowing what the conditions are on those picks. But this is sort of their last hurrah. I would love to hear. I would imagine he'll play once Malkin is healthy. He'll play third line center. Will they even try and put him in the top 6? How much power play time will he see? Those are all interesting questions that should be answered soon. I'd love to hear about that, where you think he'll play in the lineup as well, down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about these trades, really. Don't forget David Riddick as well. That's it. That's all. I'm going to go to bed now. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, which will alert you when my next video comes out. I'm going to be keeping up with trade deadline day all the way through Monday. So stay tuned. Thanks again. Please be kind to each other out there in this crazy world we're living in, and I'll see you soon.